Today at Gardenville.tv we are talking to Alex MountCharles, who has a whisky brand now called Slane Castle Whisky. What a great innovative idea.
Well, yeah, absolutely. We've had a lot of fun putting this project together. We've produced our first whisky in 2009, and it was really released on the back of the fact that the castle has become very well known for the rock concerts. And in fact, last weekend we had the Kings of Leon, and I presented bottles to them on the Friday night, and then on Saturday they then bought a number of cases off me. So it got their endorsement anyway, which was great. So it is an Irish whisky. It's a blend of single malt and grain Irish whiskies matured in a first-use bourbon cask. So those lovely bourbon notes then carry over into our whisky.
Now, where would you source all the ingredients that go into the whisky?
Well, we use a combination of, it's mainly barley as the main cereal. Making whisky has not changed for a long time. It's a very old process. It's a very clean product. So we use Irish barley. We do also use a little bit of maize because that adds a certain sweetness and depth of flavour to the whisky. But it's mainly Irish barley, so it's all local ingredients, and then of course good Irish water as well.
So how does the whole process work?
Well, very simply, it's in its early stages it's very similar to making beer. So you effectively take your cereal, your malted barley, which is just barley that is germinated. You then effectively add that to hot water to dissolve the sugars into a hot liquid, and then you add your yeast. Your yeast feeds off the sugar in the hot liquid, and that forms a wash, which is basically similar to a beer. And then you take that and you then put that into a still, which involves cooking it, and the vapors evaporate, and you then condense and collect those, and that forms your raw spirit. You take that raw spirit and then you put it into a cask, which in this case is a bourbon cask, and it interacts with the wood over a number of years, and then, hey presto, you have your whisky. Now that's putting it fairly simply, but that's the guts of it.
Well, wow, it's some journey, isn't it, to get it into the bottle?
It is, indeed.
It certainly is. Now, you're introducing us to a super drink. What are you telling us about today?
We're going to make a little cocktail now, which is called the Wojito. And what we've done there...
Can I catch you there? Wojito. Where did you come up with this?
That actually came up through a late-night conversation at a bar. I'd be a fan of the mojito, which is the traditional Caribbean cocktail, using rum as a base. And all we've done is we've swapped the whiskey for the swapped the rum for the whiskey, and hence the whiskey led to the W. So we've called it a Wojito instead of a mojito.
Terrific. Now, how do we make this delicious drink?
Well, your basic ingredients are obviously, in this case, we have the Slane Castle whisky, which is your spirit. And then we have here in front of us, we have some crushed ice, some Demerara sugar. It has to be Demerara because that has the right granular thing to interact with one of the other ingredients, which is lime. And then the ingredient here standing behind me, we have some lovely growing mint, and if you can take it straight off the bush like this, that's when you get the real freshness. So basically the ingredients are Demerara sugar, fresh lime, Slane Castle whisky, crushed ice, and then your mint.
Well, we have the mint behind us here. Do you want to pull some, or when do you do that, or is that later on in the process?
That comes right at the end of the process. So what we do is we're gonna start. We take our glass, okay, and we've got three sort of segments of lime.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put a little bit of sugar on top of the lime, just pour that on there, and then I take my muddler, which is basically like a little wooden club, and I just crush the sugar into the lime like that, and the lime juice then starts to dissolve the sugar. And once we've done that, we then take our Slane Castle Irish whiskey, we pour a good measure of that in like that, give that another little muddle there, and now